Welcome back to another episode of Penny Help Jess. This is episode 452. And for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. On this channel, I try and do a penny roll hunt every day. Hence the reason we're up to 452. And I try to do one of these older style penny rolls once a week, which means I need to have 50, 50 about 50 a year, which means they won't be around for long if I do them once a week. But I am doing one today. Now, you might wonder, what do I mean by these older style penny rolls? I've been doing this so long that I figure so many people are following the channel and they know what I mean when I say these older style penny wrappers. On my desk, do I have any other ones? Not really. This was the last one. I have to put a couple more on my desk. Um, these are a little bit older, but if you ever seen the ones that are all red, do I have one over here? Hold on. No, no, I don't. I have a couple more of these, which are the ones we're looking at here. And you ever see the ones that are all red or orange? Have a big, they write penny on it that in real big fat letters. These are wrappers from a long. I've never seen them before, to be honest with you. I'm assuming these are from 20, 30, 40 years ago, to be honest. And what you're going to see on the inside of this penny roll is mostly copper pennies. And there's a good chance, especially if you're new to to penny roll hunting, you will never find a penny roll that is over 50% copper from the bank in 2025. There's a good chance. If you do, leave a comment below. So let's see if I'm right. I'm pretty sure they are mostly copper. I don't know if they're all copper. They could be all copper. And copper pennies take a little bit longer to examine. Yeah, they're mostly copper. There might be one or two um, zinc cents in here. Copper pennies take a little bit longer to examine, and there's a good chance. Look at the condition of this. This is ridiculous. I geek out a little bit on these pennies because in a normal penny roll, if I find 1 cent that looks like this, I'm jumping up and down for joy. And already on the rim of the first cent, there's an anomaly. So I might have to divide this penny roll hunt into 2 episodes. No, it just has little marks there. But look how clean this is. This is, even with those black marks, believe it or not, it can still get a low mint state. I've seen them before. A low mint state grade. All right. We're on the board with a beauty. It could be high AU. Oh, did I ask anybody to click like and subscribe? I know I was supposed to ask this at the beginning of the video. So this is, I guess, as close as I'm going to get. Look how yellow this coin is. How about the no floating roof, no weak FG? All right. Another mint state penny. Let me get a little closer. Sometimes I'll get so enamored with the condition of these beautiful pennies that I'll stop looking for errors. I see that. Let me get my pointer out. Let me look at that under the loop. It's actually a scratch. That's a die clash. A very weak die clash. Huh. 68. Another beautiful coin. And somebody might ask, well, why does it take so long? Why does it take longer to penny roll hunt or to inspect a copper penny versus a zinc penny? Well, for one, I think generally speaking, copper pennies are more desirable across the board. So, what does that mean? That means, for example, if you just put a copper penny like and a and a zinc penny in the same condition in auction, there's a good chance the copper penny will sell for slightly more than the zinc, if not a lot more. There's more nostalgia involved with copper pennies. There's an idea, American made. Uh, things we don't do it that way anymore, like how we used to. And copper pennies have that kind of nostalgia of American made with them. Copper pennies don't rust; they don't rot. Right? Zinc cents rot. There is a chance that if you buy a zinc cent, even graded, at some point in the future, it will rot and it will disappear. How do you like those apples? Imagine that. Imagine spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on a graded zinc cent, and you put it away, and when you come back to look at it, it's rotten. Whew. Talk about disappointment, huh? So copper coins, copper does not rot, does not rust. Now there is a little bit of zinc mixture. So this is really an alloy, right? An alloy is when you take a pure metal and you mix it with another metal for whatever reason. Usually it's to make it stronger. As zinc is softer, look at this. This might have to be look how thick it is on the side. Shh. As zinc is softer, I'm going to assume it is not. Let me take a picture of this. Go out just a little bit. Have the light on. Okay. I don't think it's to make it stronger. I would imagine it's has something to do with the um, to make it softer, so it doesn't crack or break when it's cast. Oh, this might be a good example of mechanical doubling. I can see it from this distance. That's especially in the U there. Yeah, it's just probably mechanical doubling. Can it be a double die? No, I don't think so. I did a pretty lengthy video yesterday on the difference between mechanical doubling. Well, these do look kind of thick, but I don't think they're extra thick. They look fat. So if you didn't check out yesterday's video, check it out. Yeah, these older pennies have that. This one's even better than the last one. Even this might be mechanical doubling, even though you can see some twisting in the letters. And look at that B. I still think it's mechanical doubling. I mean, it could be not mechanical doubling, but I think it is mechanical doubling. You really need to see the separation in the image, or something that is shown in a resource, a reference. So, for example, the Cherry Picker's Guide, if you find, we got nice woody lamination error, or copper coins, which copper coins, I believe he just references other resources, if I'm correct. He might have found some on his own, but for the most part, he references other resources. Yeah, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. And I know there's going to come a day when I'm not going to find these anymore. Not like this. Not like this. Absolutely stunning. Not like this. So, just to recap a little bit about the doubling versus double die discussion I had yesterday, and I started to talk about a little bit a moment ago. Not to rehash the whole definition or anything, but that really becomes the point where things will start changing. If you're new to the channel, or if you've never thought about, if you wanted better understanding of the difference, what makes a coin doubled, or considered a double die, then that becomes really the once you get a decent understanding of the difference between the two, it kind of really changes things, because you realize that most of the interesting pennies that you have found up to this point are really, I don't want to say worthless, but worth less than what you might have thought. For example, this is a good example of that. This is a great example of, well, most likely this is mechanical doubling. Oh, I don't know. See, to me, this looks like it could have a spread towards the south, towards the center, which I think is a class 1. So this might be a double die. Might be. And again, a big part of that is because of the D right here, where on the south part I see it looks like it's spread. Now the Liberty also has some doubling. Whether or not that's from a double die is the ultimate question, but it is super duper. You can see the twisting in the Y. Might be a double die. Let me put that. So we'll keep them separate. I was hoping to say, oh, that's a good example of mechanical doubling. Meanwhile, it ended up possibly being a double die. And again, part of that reason is because of this old, really premium penny roll that I'm going through. Now, a good question would be, well, where did this? How do I think I got so lucky finding these penny rolls? Oh, it's just luck. I mean, really, the person. Now there are no wheat cents in here, right? So the chance of finding, or I mean, I find wheat cents in 2025 penny rolls, right? So how come in this 30-year-old, 30-year-old penny roll, I'm not finding any wheat cents? It's because the person was also either a coin roll hunter, but they definitely separate their wheat from their memorials, right? That's why there are no wheat cents in any of these penny rolls, even though they're 100% copper pennies. So, in a sense, these penny rolls were very lightly searched through. And again, here goes another really good example of. I want to look at this one through the loop. I'll talk to you while I'm looking at it. That Y is phenomenal. And again, you have the doubling in Liberty. You have some doubling in the R in Trust. And on the date, let me see what that is. Was that a piece of dirt that I just rubbed off? Yeah, it was dirt. Well, and the date is also some doubling. I don't think it's separation though. So again, a good example of, see, the 9 has some doubling in the top part of the loop. And the Y has some twisting. And the B has doubling. And the T has doubling. And the R has doubling. But it's not a double die. Most likely this is not a double die. Because the doubling is inside of the letters, inside of the numbers, inside of the element, the figure. Look at the eye. Look at the doubling in the top of the eye. And the R, the W. But it's not a double die. So that's why you get people saying that's not worth anything. And in some senses, they're correct. In some senses, they are correct. Now, in another sense, it has more, like, for example, there's no doubling on this, but let me tell you, this penny here is worth $1. This is a $1 penny right here. Maybe more because of its condition. All right, that's an MS 62, 63, 64 penny. So there's no doubling on it, but it's worth $1 because of its condition. And someone might say, no, it's not. It's worth a penny. First of all, the copper value alone is almost 4 cents. So just for that reason alone, they're incorrect. All right. This is going to be the last one, and then we'll do a part 2. Another zinger. Yeah, we probably got another. I'm going to keep going. I'm not in the mood to do 2 parts and 2 thumbnails and all of that. Has a collar error, misaligned, I think. Does it go around the whole coin? Yeah, that's pretty cool. Both sides. Yeah, it has a collar error on both sides. You can see the little space between the rim and the edge. Another beauty. Now, I mean, think about it. If there were, let's say a penny like this is worth $1, right? And this one does have little marks on it, so it might be 50 cents. Because of its condition. I mean, if you can get a tube of them together, right? If you can get a tube of $1 pennies that you found, you got $50, man. In in mint state condition, I'm saying. Then you're good to go. Look at it twisting in here. Yeah, I'll look at this under the loop. Look how thick the model looks. Really super thick. But look, you see, the problem is on these 64s, these 60s, these 64, 68s, they're very close to the rim, and it always makes me think that they just got squashed a little bit, The god. Oh no, this is a double die. Well, I think it's a double die. I should look at. I'm going to show you the end real quick. So we got really nice twisting, some separation in the B in Liberty, twisting in the letters in Liberty. But what's really, really nice, you got separation in the other letters also in the motto, but it's really the God. Let me look at the reverse to see if there's anything on the reverse while I got this in my hand. Something interesting on the T in United. Has like a bulge on it. All right, so here's the God. It has separation to the south. I don't know if you can see it or not. The T on the reverse on United has like this extra metal on it. I don't know what that's from. Could be deteriorated dye. Or it could be a second strike. You see it right there? You know, it could be the double dye. Look how thick some of these letters in the plurius look. Look at that B. But really, it's the God. And look how thick these are. But I don't see the separation that you really want to see. Well, maybe a little bit. That's a good one. That's a good one. Even that one, you know, someone might say it's not a double die, that it's mechanical doubling. It's possible. It's possible. See the lines? That's deteriorated collar. They need to change the collar on this one. Yeah. These are special. Now the question is, you know, did this person really did he severely cherry pick any of these pennies? Like did he find double dies? Like really good examples of double dies. The ones we found, I don't think are any of them are good examples. Even though they might be a double die. It was 68. Yeah, another 68. You see? There's something about the 68s and 64s, with them being very close to the rim like this, that the letters appear flatter. See, then you get this doubling like you see right there in the S. That's a really nice doubling. I have to look at that under the loop. That's really nice doubling. But it doesn't mean that's a double. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not a double die either. But the important part is to realize that it doesn't mean it's a double die just because it has doubling. That's the important lesson to learn here. And there is doubling on the motto. It looks mostly inside of the letters though, except for that S and even the U next to it. The trust is what's interesting in the motto. The U looks like it could have some separation on the reverse, on the bottom. I was thinking about the reverse when I said it. Just want to check it out really quickly. I don't know. Hard to say. I mean, if you want to go hardcore, you just say it's mechanical doubling, and no one will fight you on it. You know what I mean? So that's a decent rule of thumb to go by. Is just to say, oh, it's mechanical doubling, and no one's gonna. And you know what? 9 out of 10 times, you're gonna be correct. And since condition is such an important part part of the value, especially if the coin is not in the bestest of conditions, then it really, really doesn't matter. Because you're talking about something that's worth maybe, you know, $1, maybe 50 cents. And that's if it is a double die. See the doubling on the 5? See the W? Even though that one looks like it's spread towards the center. Let me look at the W and that 5 under the loop. Oh, wow. The 5 looks like it has some doubling. And then that W really looks like it's looks kind of doubled also. Same thing with the N and IN. I don't know. Hard to say. Looks pretty cool though. So you can see how long the video gets when I don't chop it into two videos with these all copper penny rolls. And again, it's me being lazy. I have to do two separate videos. I have to do two separate thumbnails, titles, all of that. And today I'm just not doing it. And it also changes the flow a little bit of the discussion. Even though by this point most people have checked out. Except my members. Shout out to my members. Eric, Sandra, Otis, Ter, and Marte. Sticking it in there with Jess. You know. Hanging in there, Thank you, guys. I think we're approaching some of the other members becoming 1-yearers. That's a big deal. Right now, the only 1-yearer is Eric. That's the channel's very first member, and said he might be. In one of the comments he left, he said he might be opening up his own coin channel. I don't mean YouTube channel. He has the YouTube channel, Kenai Collectibles. But he might be starting his own coin identification channel, which would be nice. That'll be great. That'll be a nice reference to have. I use mostly copper coins right now, and it's pretty good. He references other people. I think, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think he does. He must have doubling there. I don't know if it's a double die or not. He references other resources, which is fine. So I'm not sure if that's what you're going to do, Eric. That would be fine too. I think it's more of the presentation and how easy it is to navigate the website. To me, that's what's most important. If it's difficult, if it's clunky, then it's going to be, people won't use it as much. So Copper Coins has that date page, and that's what I got bookmarked. I just click on the date. It's really easy to use. That date page is really what makes his website so usable. I'm gonna look at this one. Look at that. Look at that Liberty. Look at that B. I mean, it definitely is doubled again. And again, the GOD has doubling. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, the motto has the best doubling. The G is really where I see some separation in the letter. I think even from this distance, you can see it. It's really nice. Look at the D. Now, it could be, again, it could be mechanical doubling. It could be. It could be deteriorated die. It could be. But it might be a class 6 double die. Could be extra thick. It's a good one. We're almost getting towards the end there. Not that anybody wants the video to end. Also has a nice doubling. Also has nice doubling. Just so dirty. Might be a good one to clean. We'll see. And last but not least, we got a 69 copper penny. with the floating roof and the weak FG. All right. That's a really nice floating roof. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please click like and subscribe. God bless. This is episode 452. I will see you on episode 453.